Hello and welcome to the next Pixel Hub video where we discuss the player unrest surrounding the Halo Infinite gameplay that we recently saw at the Xbox Showcase.
Fight hard! Die well.
Ew!
Despite people's eager anticipation to play the next title in the Halo franchise, Infinite, there was an overwhelmingly negative backlash towards the graphics that were introduced in the trailer. Some people even going as far to say that it looked like Halo 2 in the previous consoles. Just stitch that last bit together.
Nailed it!
And many players are mocking the close-up of the Brute, where it doesn't look particularly next-gen, more like last-gen, and some screenshots popping up showing various visual disappointments with model quality and particular textures.
Yeah, and Xbox didn't sit quietly though. They came out with a statement actually regarding the emerging negativity and said, listen, we're currently in the middle of a global pandemic. It's July, we're far away from launch, so you're seeing a work in progress. But many, including myself, aren't really convinced, and I would say that the game at this point, if it's good enough to showcase in a trailer, then they're probably... Usually trailers like that are more polished than the end result would be. You know, we're so used to downgrades in the industry these days. I'm not convinced that's entirely the best statement, because now they have to almost improve it, because if they don't, they'll get even more backlash now. So interesting. I mean, I actually, when we all watched the Xbox Showcase, we all thought it looked pretty good, right? But it's actually seeing the screenshots now. I think it's easy to pause a trailer at a point and go, that looks bad, but we're actually seeing it in flow of motion. Everything. I didn't think it looked too bad at all. So it's interesting, really, that all this.
Also,
came out,
something else I read up on was that the build that they showed is a few months in the past. Like
I think they said 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite an old early build, and that they released a new, more recent stitched together 40K 60 FPS video on YouTube, and that
40K.
At 40K.
Oh my
Holy
God!
shit, that's a good
Oh,
video.
Someone said Warhammer?
That'd be an epic quality. Can you imagine how crisp it would be?
Holy shit.
And the main thing is, like, people are bringing up about the Brute, the close-up of the Brute, everything like that, but I mean, the main thing I'm going to be kind of looking at is the gameplay, the actual kind of when they were going around with the guns and everything like that.
Yeah.
The effects on the grenades look pretty great, and like I think Abyss, I remember from our video, you turned around and said, "Oh, the shield region effect looked really cool." And
I liked a lot of the new animations.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
stuff,
and
definitely.
it's that kind of thing's really going to carry the game more than it looks slightly bad.
And it's a cutscene on a really close up of a face, like for the standard large 95% of your gameplay, that's not going to be an issue. So kind of something interesting to blow it out. But
Do you think maybe it was more along the lines that there wasn't that much of a jump between the last Halo and Halo Infinite? That's what people are actually outcrying about. Like, this is meant to be a next-gen console. You're meant to get hyped to the graphics.
I think people are kind of overblowing this whole next-gen thing. Like, how much more realistic can these games look? Like, adding RTX and adding a lot better lighting quality and stuff like that, I think is very important for the next gen. But beyond that, like, PC has already seen this jump for the longest. Like, how much more realistic are you expecting this to get?
Well, I thought that's generally was going to be the next step in graphic fidelity, was going to be in lighting, and I think that's people focus on the textures look bad, but it's lighting is going to carry the next generation, I think, and the features of the actual console.
I think it's a bit, the whole thing's a bit overblown. I think Halo has an art style for it. It's not meant to be ultra realistic anyway.
Too.
It has got an art style. Admittedly, the screenshots I saw did make it look bad, but they're assets way in the background that frankly probably haven't been polished up yet anyway. They're pretty placeholders, so there's maybe some truth in this early build. But I think we're right. The graphical fidelity now has kind of reached its peak, I think, for a while. Most of the issues now is more about getting the current visual quality we have at a bigger resolution. We can't even do that yet. So I think the next step up in graphics is still quite a way away. Yeah, anyway, we can't even hit 4K with current graphics.
Realistically, like, even if it's a bad texture, I think, from my understanding of game development, textures are relatively easy to replace. In the grand scheme of the entire game, you can make a new texture and replace the old one. And you might have some problems with the skeleton and such, making sure that it wraps correctly. But overall, that's probably something that they could fix relatively easy compared to the general look and feel of the game and the lighting quality and stuff like that. That needs to be proper. And from what I could see, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, so saying plus bear in mind, Halo Infinite looks like it was developed for Xbox One anyway.
Yeah.
It looks like they're now trying to add extra fidelity later for the new gen.
Was it
but
delayed?
Really, it was built for Xbox One, right? So
Was it ever delayed? I can't remember.
Don't know.
I don't recall. I don't think they ever released an announcement.
Not sure if
did
they
they?
ever
No,
had a release
I don't
date.
think so.
Delay or anything.
But we are talking
They
about
probably-
a 7-month-old build anyway. If you're building a game to test if it's working well and it's got a good flow, you're not going to put in top graphics there and then. That comes at the end. That's polishing. That's making sure things are pretty. So seeing a 7-month-old demo, as we call it, and seeing how good it looked then, I'm looking forward to see what they can polish up when it is released, and see how it compares to what was shown at the Xbox game thing.
Another key point as well is that, you know, everyone complains about cinematic. We want gameplay trailers. Think, well, there's a reason to do cinematic trailers. It's because the gameplay trailers aren't ready yet, because the gameplay assets aren't finished. And this is exactly the kind of problem we get into. So I feel for them a little bit, but I think the problem is the statement Xbox saying it's an old build. I don't think they're not wrong in what they're saying, but I do worry they're giving an impression that it's going to be a lot better when it releases. I don't think it will. It might be a bit more
I think the textures will be more polished up and
better,
such.
but I don't think it'll be. You know, it kind of gives an impression there's like a, you know, oh, it's not done yet. It's going to look way better. I think that's the caution I'd put into there. But
Yeah.
It's not going to be
thought
a
it looked
night and
pretty
day
way-
change. Definitely, you know, you could tell that the game was overall, you know, finished. Like they're moving towards the polishing phase, but you know, even for a 7-month build, I mean, it looked pretty good to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think I didn't notice it even when until I saw the screenshots in the news. I didn't even think anything of it. I didn't notice really. Other than the face
No,
close up, but I just sort of thought it's not done yet. And it was really close up.
My first opinion of it was that it was actually really nice. It looked pretty. Like, so I didn't actually see any flaws, but it seemed that people are having a lot of problems with it, except for the close up of the Brit. That did seem very bad quality. But again, placeholders and non-polished, it could improve over time.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So we'll see. Yeah.
All right, well that's it from us today on Halo Infinite and the graphical quality issues people are having.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have high hopes or maybe disappointment, you know, depending on how you feel this game's going to turn out, please feel free to tell us what you think will happen in the near future as this game gets closer to release.
Yeah, as he says, let us know in the comments. What are your thoughts on the show? Do you think it looked good? Do you think it looked bad? Let us know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.